Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining me today. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff that you can do. How do you do the YouTube voodoo that you do? Well, first of all, thanks for joining me. And second of all, let's look at some types of things that you can find in proof sets and mint sets. We're going to start out with something that's so minor it looks like a scratch, but I'll tell you what, it is super fun to see things like this from my perspective, just because of the millions of proof sets that you look at. There's very few that you actually find with this type of error, especially on a modern piece. This is a strike through on the surface of the coin, and it is hair thin. Now, it could be a brush wire, and a lot of the wire brushes that are used to polish the dies, and sometimes you'll see other metal parts from machinery fall down and in. That's a kind of a common error type for these coins. Of course, the difference between a variety and an error is that an error happens into the die, and so it's duplicatable onto all things. In a variety, boy, I just said that backwards. I knew what I meant, honestly. So just invert what I said. If it's in the die, then it is a variety. If it is into the coin, it's an error. Let's just start over. I'll never learn how to do this, but we've got kind of the same thing on this 1980 Susan B. Anthony proof dollar. And it also has a strike through of probably what is a thicker piece of a wire brush. Think of just those little brushes with some solvent or something. Somebody was cleaning some parts and it fell into the machine, gets trapped in there, and whiz bang boom bam, you've got yourself an error coin. Pretty fun stuff. You know, this type of thing that I know lots of guys that still try to go out and cherry pick things like this. This is an error that I have I never owned, so I bought it. I probably paid too much for it, but it doesn't matter. So this 1962 proof set, I had to show you, you know, and if you remember from, what was it, Sesame Street, or one of these things doesn't belong here. Can you tell which one? Well, it's probably most of my content, but in this case, we're talking specifically about the fact that this coin is missing a cent and has 2 dimes instead. So I'm amazed at stuff like this, because I think someone probably sent things like these back to the mint to get the correct coins. And here there's very, very few that I've seen that have multiple of one coin and missing another. You know, it just is such an unusual type thing, and you don't really usually see it happen on these hard pack sets, but at least here you had the coins had to be set down in order and then sealed. And so I thought this was a super cool mint packaging error with 2 of the 1962 proof dimes. The only thing that could make that more cool is if it had 2 different dates in it. Then that'd be fun. All right, now we run into all kinds of stuff, including, but not ending with, this 1981 mint set, partial mint set. Is just the Denver mint on these guys, pardon me, the Philadelphia mint coins. And here we have a coin that is the $50, that at a distance, you know, it's kind of not showing up super great. It kind of looks like it got run over by a reindeer. But it actually has a very, very soft strike, as though the entire thing were struck through oil or grease. So a grease strike through on both the obverse and the reverse of a coin in a mint set package is something that we really don't see very frequently. And I would call it a strike through grease versus maybe like a weak strike, just because it has, look at that flatness over the head right there in the center part. Look at that. But because you have some higher relief area on some of it and then lower in others, which just makes me feel like it had grease moving around in the die there. That's something else that we really don't see too often. But I know lots of guys that they just collect whatever oddity they can find and look through stuff. This one I'm not really even sure about. We've got some Oregon trees here where the minting seems almost incomplete up that trunk. on some of these guys. So whether that is a worn down die, or some type of strike issue, that incompleteness that you see on there, it's probably a striking issue more than a worn down die, I'd imagine, on that. But you see that the center part of the tree just starts to disappear from one to the next. What else do we got here? Oh, these are kind of interesting. So this is a hand packaged mint set that is not actually a U.S. mint set. It says 1958 uncirculated set, and it actually happens to have in it a Franklin $50 with a clipped planchet, which is pretty cool. I haven't owned very many of those, to be honest with you. So here you have something that was privately packaged. You know, the U.S. Mint package stuff actually has the official U.S. Mint seal in there. This is just someone's handwriting, which, by the way, is very nice handwriting. I will say that. And we got a couple more here to look at that are also similar. Let me see this one here. Coin planchet clip, a bit in the 50 cent. I'm trying to remember which one. Oh, this one's super cool. There it is. Check that out. Y'all see what I see? A star, a star. There, look at that. We have an extra piece of metal floating around inside the set with the $50. I mean, once again, this is the type of thing that I haven't really seen very much of. You know, we go through, like, I like to say, millions of these things, of course, tongue-in-cheek. There haven't really been that many, but in a very literal sense, over 25 years, tens of thousands of these sets. And you ask any local coin shop of yours, and they'll tell you probably something similar, that they've gone through tens of thousands of these sets. And so to find something like that, for me to see things for the first time is kind of fun. Well, yeah, I've been doing it for 25 years, so when I find something new, I find it to be kind of cool. All right, so this one appears to be when the coin was getting sealed. It appears as though you can see how this line for the seal gets crooked right there, and you can also see how on the coin you've got this little crimp, and it's on both sides of the coin, and you see how those crimp marks on the coin match up to the crimp marks that are in the seal. And this one's fun. It's got some Ron Burgundy color on it. It's really lovely. A little bit of a rainbow tone there, actually. And last but not least, we actually have a second one of these. This one, the coin's almost coming out the edge, but also with the mechanical crimping, you can see, you know, that's stuff that is going to be technically post-mint damage, but also in a real way, the type of thing that happened in the process of getting this thing sealed up. You see, once again, the crimp lines are heavy on the rim of that coin, and they match up. So this crimping line here matches up with this impression here. Once again, these are the type of things that people just have fun looking at and finding, because once again, after looking at tens of thousands of these, you know, this is a simple little error that's a mechanical error that happened in the process, but it's also the type of thing that I haven't owned or hadn't seen before. Get back in there, little guy. All right, guys. Anyways, let me know your experience with this type of stuff. If you've owned any, if you collect it. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben, the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.